What's up? What's up? It's me, Shon-Jhon, aka the Middleman CEO. Welcome to the channel. If you have not, for whatever reason, hit the subscribe button and become a regular member of the family, then what are you waiting for? Smash the subscribe. If you get any value from this video or any of my videos, the only way that I know, guys, is you smash the thumbs up. That helps me, that helps the channel to grow, that helps people like you who just happen to find this channel. You weren't even looking for this. It was just put in front of you and it became a blessing to you, because I know out of the 10 ridiculous things I say, one of them will probably make sense to you and be helpful to you. Okay? All right. 10% conversion rate. All right. So I'm being facetious, but thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. As we get towards the end of this year, we're over 2,000 subscribers. Wow, that's amazing. And 'tis the season to be jolly. We are headed to the Christmas season, which I believe starts right after Halloween. I know there's Thanksgiving, but is it just me, or does Thanksgiving kind of feel like over the past 5-10 years it's kind of lost its flair? It's not that important. It's not that big a deal anymore. And I think for me, one of the biggest reasons is we don't have the grandparents around. A lot of us, I have no grandparents. There's no grandparents. There's no great grandparents around. There's nothing like that. And so food's not the same because you guys can't cook. Right? So we got a few people left around that can cook gumbo. I'm from the South, and cook, jambalaya the right way. Okay? Don't give me no pasty jambalaya and call it jambalaya. So, but what am I talking about? All right, I'm ranting. There's that rabbit again, silly rabbit, chasing that rabbit again. And so, but it's the season to be jolly. TIS, 'tis the season to be jolly. And we'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to use it as an acronym to break down why I believe that your paycheck is one of the things that hold you back the most. Yes, I said that. I told you. I say a lot of off-the-wall things, but I'm just coming at you from a perspective of, hey, I've kind of been through this. I've experienced these things, and this is what I feel about it. So I'm excited today, guys. So I got a lot of energy. There's the Christmas tree lighting in the neighborhood today. The tree's right there. It's going to be awesome tonight. The kids are going to have a great time. It's supposed to be a bunch of food trucks. Love living in this neighborhood. Gonna be awesome. So 'tis the season to be jolly. TIS. And what does that mean? Well, I tell you that your paycheck is robbing you. Now, I've told you that on plenty of videos. Now I'm gonna tell you, because one of the main ways your paycheck robs you is you become dependent on it. And it robs you because you don't look for other opportunities. You rely on that paycheck so heavily that as long as you know it's coming in the next week, you're not looking for anything else. It's not until you're forced into a brick wall with the 18-wheeler head on, potentially crashing into you, that you start looking at other options. I always say, don't wait until you have to have it. It's better to need and not have than to have and not need. Okay? So if I see clouds in the sky and they're telling me there's potential for rain, I got my umbrella. Well, what if it doesn't rain? It's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. Right? And so 'tis the season to be jolly, TIS, and there's a reason I did it that way. And just to make it fun, just to make it cute, make it something you can remember. I used to do these tricks back in school because I was a very, very not those kind of tricks. I used to do these tricks back in school to kind of help me remember things. And for answers, I would rhyme the answer because I was a very bad student. I couldn't remember anything. Well, I wasn't good at trying to remember either. And I was very bad at test time. So if I would rhyme the answer with like a rap or a poem or something like that, so I could remember the answers only. And it was funny. And I remember I showed my ex-girlfriend years ago. And she was in college then, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy. I remembered everything because of how stupid it was." I was like, "Yeah, you do something stupid, you remember stupid things." So now we're gonna do something stupid, TIS, and TIS is gonna be the acronym that's gonna break down 3 things that we're gonna talk about that comes out of your paycheck, or that your paycheck, or just ways that your paychecks are being robbed. Oh, as I sit here, I'm looking up. I think the pelicans are back in the neighborhood. I wish I could show you a beautiful pack of pelicans. In the neighborhood. I guess they come around this time of year. So, all right, there I go. So here we go. So your paycheck is being robbed. You don't know that, but I'm telling you it is. In fact, I promise you, when you get paid, you're the last person to get paid. By the time that paycheck hits your bank account, everyone else has been paid except you. You are the last person to get paid. Okay? I'll teach over here. You are the last person to get paid. By the time that paycheck hits your bank account, everyone has been paid and compensated except you. So, and I'll prove it to you, right? TIS. T is for taxes. First thing comes out of your check is the taxes. That's right, not Texas, taxes. Whereas if you were in Texas, you would pay less taxes. So, but taxes are the first thing that comes out of your check. See, I told you you're the last person to get paid, and now I'm going to prove it to you. When you get your check deposited into your bank account, taxes have already been removed. In fact, they're so good at it that they've convinced you that your net is actually what you work for. You've forgotten all about your gross. I always say it this way: your gross is toast. By the way, I wrote a book about it called Ready, Set, Wealth. If you want to get a copy of that book, it's only $25. I have a few copies left. If you want to learn some of these things I'm teaching you, then write the word book in the comments. But you pay taxes first. There's this thing called the Current Tax Payment Act, right? And this allows the government, because when the government first started taxing years ago, you were allowed to get paid and bring your tax money to the government, but the government got to the point where they didn't trust you and they needed the money faster, right? And so, because they were greedy at that point, they still are. And so the government created this law, the Current Tax Payment Act, and they started, I think it was 1943, and they started going into your paycheck. So now they're the first ones in your paycheck, right? You want to talk about robbery? There it is. They've convinced you that what you work for, you shouldn't even expect to receive. Well, they promised me 50 grand a year. I know, but they paid you 35. You're okay with that? You lost $15,000. Yeah, but it was taxes. I know, but what else could you have done with $15,000? You want to see people live their best life? Stop taxing them, right? I understand tax, I got it, but I'm telling you, this country was founded on no taxes, no taxation. I'm just telling you, right? Think about all the taxes you paid over the years. What could you do now if the government refunded all that tax money to you? What could you do? You could buy a house, buy a car, you could start a business, you could do a bunch of things. The gross is so important. That's why I love business, because business gives you the gross. If I earn $10,000, I get $10,000. If you earn $10,000 on a job, you get $7,000 if you're lucky. The other 3, you could have done something with it. Yes, a business does have to pay tax, but I could take the same $3,000 they would have taxed me that they taxed you, and I could have promoted my business, bought a new computer, rented an office, all those things, and wrote it off and paid no taxes. Use the money, grow my business. Now, which is better? Using the money to help yourself, or just giving it away to the government? I'll let you decide, okay? All right, inflation. Inflation robs your paycheck. Yes, the I word. I know. Before 2020, most of you never heard of it, let alone hyperinflation, which I think we got to and they didn't tell us. But the I word, inflation. Inflation is a bad mamma jam. It's a bad word, and it'll disrupt your paycheck and disrupt your finances. Why? Because your salary still 50 grand, but the bread, the gas, the food you get out of the stores, the eating out, the trips, the vacation, all of that has increased in price, but your salary stayed the same. So I used to get a kick out of it when people said, no, coming out of the pandemic, they'd be like, no, I still make 50 grand. I still make the same amount of money. No, you don't, because you're looking at your paycheck's number. Sure, it still says 50 grand, but you're not looking at the buying power that says 25 grand. Don't look at the quantity, look at the quality, of the paycheck. It can buy less. Now you need an extra dollar to buy the bread, right? Now you need an extra $2 to buy the gas. You're looking at the wrong determining factor. You have to look at the quality of what your paycheck can afford. That's buying power. Inflation disrupts buying power. And I'll tell you something else about inflation before I move on. Inflation is not a bad thing if you own the asset. See, I didn't leave it there. It's not a bad thing if you own the asset. So if I own the house or the apartment complex that you rent out of, inflation causes me to raise my prices. I make more money. You spend more money, right? So for the people that are complaining about inflation, it's those of us who have to spend money on things. But if you own the asset, inflation is a good thing. If you own the liability, means you pay for the asset, but it's not yours, then it's a bad thing. So if you own the house and you can raise the rent, good thing. If you rent the house and the rent goes up, bad thing. That's inflation, right? And don't get me started on some other things. I'll just keep going, right? So let's see. Taxes, inflation, that's the T and the I, 'tis the season.